CIT16 Midterm Project, Hacking with Kali Linux. For this project, we are working with the assumption that we are already in the network, either as a legitimate guest or hacked in. Our objective is to gain remote access to an XP desktop by exploiting the print spooler vulnerability. Let's begin. We will be using the Metasploit console, and before we can do that, we need to start a couple of services. So I'm going to open up a terminal window and start those services. Once those services are started, we can call up the MSF console. I will occasionally pause the video because sometimes it takes a while for things to get started, and I'll do that right now. And we are in. The first order of business is to scan the network we've somehow gained access to. The tool we use for this is Nmap. Okay, the -N option disables reverse DNS. Many DNS servers log name resolutions, so running an Nmap scan without disabling name resolution may cause Nmap stations to appear in DNS log. It attempts to resolve the name of every workstation it scans. The -OX option basically tells you the output is going to be in an XML file, and my.xml is the name of that XML file. So we can see that the results came in, and we have a few results: 192.168.1.1, .1.101, .1.108, .1.109, .117, .116. So once these results come in, we can import it into the database that we just started, which was the PostgreSQL. So the command for that would be db_import my.xml. So we are importing that my.xml file that was created. A couple of commands that we can put in is host. And we get the results. This tells you basically the device is in a little more condensed, settings. And then, of course, we can do services. And this tells you all of the, the ports that are open on specific machines. To get a more detailed result for a specific device, we can run a scan on a specific machine. And this, I'll go ahead and choose 192.168.117. And we can do this for all the individual hosts we've found, but I know that our target machine is .1.117, so I'm going to go straight to that. I know that right now mainly because I'm the one that's starting this. Well, I guess it's my target machine. So now we get a more detailed results, and from this we can see that it's running Microsoft Windows XP, and it has a Service Pack 3, that the name of the machine is IE8 WinXP, and it belongs to the workgroup MS Home. And we can see a lot of good stuff here. We see that the ports that are open, and we see that, pay close attention to this SMB. SMB is the server message block for Microsoft Windows. It's a network protocol in the application layer and primarily used for providing access to files, printers, serial ports, and other communication nodes on the network. So that's a good place to start. And we know that XP machine it's a great machine to scan, mainly because it's been around for a while, and a lot of people and hackers have had ample time to find vulnerabilities with respect to the specific OS. So it's a great target machines. The next thing we do is actually look for, I guess, a module for exploits. So we can do a search for SMB. Let me see if this works. So we get all of these results. We have multiple results for SMB. So now now we can just choose which one we're going to use. It's good to choose something that exists, that you know would specifically exist for a certain workstation, because if you choose something like remote access service, home machine usually don't provides that service, but you never know. So we are going to use this exploit for exploiting the print spooler service. Most home machines that I know of have printers attached to them, so we're gonna take our chances on this and see and check out the exploit for this. Okay, let me copy that. Use. Paste. And then we're going to show options to see what kind of information it's looking for. So it's looking for the printer share name to use on the target and the target address. So not only do we need to have that target address of 192.168.1.117, we also need to get the printer name. In order to do that, we would need to somehow find, I guess, that information. And the way we can do that is open up a virtual machine and try to get in to, or try to be in the same workgroup as that, i.e. that 192.168.1.117 device. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a virtual machine, and I'm going to pause this video for a little bit. So our virtual machine is up, which is this Windows 7 machine. The first order of business would be to change the workgroup it belongs to be the same as that of our target machine. So if you recall, that workgroup was MS Home. I'll go ahead and do that. And I will be pausing the video again because I would need to restart this this virtual machine. So I'll do that right now. And we are back. So the first thing we need to do is check make sure that we're in the same MS Home. We're right there. Then I'm just waiting for this network to come up online. Let's see, control panel. And while we're doing this, I want to go back to the Kali Linux machine and how we chose those exploits. You can see here like the dates those vulnerabilities were found. Now, I chose an exploits. The spool was in 2010, September 14th. Certainly, you can use the earlier exploits, but the problem with that is I guess the earlier the exploits are, it's most likely that it's been patched already. So that's why I went with a later exploit, which is 2010, as opposed to 1999 or 2006. So I am hoping that those vulnerabilities were not patched yet. So let's go back to the Windows machine. Okay, so we are here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look inside that network here, and here's that target machine. Double click on that target machine, and look, it has a printer, and the printer name is printer. So we'll note that down and go back to our Kali machine. But now that we know that the printer exists there, we can go ahead and turn off this machine, because we really don't want to be in their work group. We don't want them to see that we're somehow logged in that work group. So we'll go ahead and turn that off now. And now we are back to that to our Kali machine. The first thing we need to do is go ahead and set the printer name. So that's set p name, and that was printer that we saw. And then we set the remote host, our host. And then it's time to choose a payload. So Metasploit has a number of payloads. So I'm gonna show you all of those payloads right now. And you have lots of payloads to choose from. I'm gonna go ahead and choose a payload that I'm a little more familiar with. So, and that's the meter printer. So let me look for that meter printer's Windows reverse DNS. Reverse TCP, if I can find it. Here it is, Windows meter printer reverse TCP. So I'm gonna just copy this. And then paste. There we go. And we can show the options. And it's asking us for an L host, which is the listen address. That's the local host, which is this machine. And we can check the IP address of this machine. It's doing ifconfig. It's a 192.168.1.16. So go ahead and set our host 192.168.1.116. Oops, wrong one. If I did that, I will never get any results. 6. And the L port. This port can be any port, but it's a great practice to use a port that's that would not raise any alarms, which is, so we'll do set L port 445. Once that's done, we can go ahead and run exploit. And it's starting. Okay, so we're just waiting for it right now. And there we go. We are inside. If you're not familiar with this application, you can always look for some of the command options here. So we can see that, look, it clears the event log. It can execute a command. It can get into the shell. So what we're going to try to do today is create a directory inside that machine, our target machine, and also clear the event log. So I'm going to show you how that machine looks like right now. Okay, so this is our target machine, and I'm going to open up the control panel, the event viewer. Okay, so the application already has all of this information in here. So we're going to go ahead and clear that from our attacking machine, and we're also going to try to create the directory called hacked into the desktop. So let me go back. Oops, wrong one. That's nice. Okay, so first thing to do would probably drop into the shell of this machine. Oh look, I am in that C drive of Windows System 30. I'm in the C Windows System 32 directory of our target machine. So I'm going to go ahead and change that CD directory. Desktops is in Documents and Settings folder. So I'm going to create that all users. So I'm there, so I can do a make directory hacked. So that directory should show up for all the users, and you can create files. What's so scary about this is that you can create startup scripts and put it in all users in their startup folders, and anytime a user start up this machine and log on, the script will run. And the script can do so many things. It can stay in the background, it can be a Trojan and propagate to other devices and other machines. The scariest part is if this Trojan stays in the background and it just collects loads and loads of data and passes it on to a receiving server. So the next thing we do is we'll go ahead and exit this, and we'll go ahead and clear the event log, and that's the command for that. It's clear EV. So look, it wiped 39 records from application, 41 records from system, and from security. So now we go back to our target machine, and look, it's that directory created. It's there, it's hacked, and we'll go back to the event viewer. It's still showing there, so like we'll do a refresh, and it's gone. The application and the system logs, they're all gone. There's still a security log there, but everything else is gone. So with that, you can see how powerful this little tool can be and how dangerous leaving your machines unpatched. So I guess that's the end of that. And you can basically play around with Meterpreter, and you can see that you can shut down the machine. You can really annoy the person on the other end and just keep rebooting the machine until, of course, they patch the vulnerability. And that ends our tutorial for hacking with Kali Linux using Metasploit console.